All right. So I just kind of do that. And then
Heck yeah.
if you want to share some stories, I don't know, whatever you got, you can go ahead and we'll,
Yeah.
chat
Yeah.
for a little
Yeah.
bit, like 15, 20
So
minutes, whatever.
heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I have multiple encounters. One of my first encounters that I ever had was the Wolf Man. We heard the story
Mm,
of the Sleepy Hollow Wolf Man, and my two good friends, Jake and Alex, they had an encounter while they were driving home one time. They were being driven home from the rec center or something from a fireman, and they saw this creature cross the road, and they thought it was a deer, but they looked real close and they saw it was not a deer, and they don't think it was a Bigfoot either. They looked like it was like a dog, like a
wow.
wolf, like a man wolf, and they always call it the Wolf Man. And I had them type up an encounter for my letters from family and friends chapter, but I
Nice.
always heard that story. All right. And then I was sleeping over Alex's, a few weeks later, a few months later, and we're downstairs playing pool in his walkout basement, and there's glass, full body glass. So we're
Okay.
totally exposed to the backyard, and it's dark. And his backyard is woods that goes down into a den, into a creek. And so we were always just messing around, talking about the Wolf Man. We had golf in the morning, so we're just chilling. It was when we were, I think, before high school. It was before we were ever even getting into trouble. And
Sure.
we felt something. Something overtook us, and we turn off the lights and we start creeping out and looking outside into the windows, into the dark, and we see this silhouette of this giant creature. And
Whoa.
and Alex say they saw his eyes, but I really just saw his outline, and I bolted.
You're like, I'm out of here. Forget this.
Yeah, we kept peeking and stuff, and I just felt so vulnerable. I knew he could just break through the glass and then just take us, because Alex's parents were upstairs, not giving a care about us, and
Yeah.
it just overswept us. And we ended up creeping around, peeking, and we didn't get another sighting of it. But the rest of the night, I remember we were watching Saving Private Ryan, trying to forget it, and I
Mm-hmm.
in there curled up with my back to the glass, just
Ooh.
shivering in fear, so scared that we end up going up to Alex's room on the upstairs floor because we were done sleeping down there. And three,
Yeah, dude.
teenage boys, that it overtook us. And
Mm.
I talked to Jake and Alex about it now, and that's what I was mentioning when it's like, did that really happen? And we're like, yeah, that happened. But like, did he put us under a spell? Was this the famous dog,
Wow.
or what was it? Like, there was a story of the Brunswick beast, but they described it as like a chupacabra. This was not a chupacabra. This thing was huge, and it was. Alex said it was like 5'5" to 6 foot in his description, but I believe it was down in like a ditch, a little like down at an angle. So this thing
Okay.
not 9 or 11 feet tall. And
Sure.
hearing that story yesterday, hearing 30 foot, like I would not be surprised. The way dogs could stretch out. Like if a thing is 11 feet tall and then you stretch it a little longer, that could be 17 feet, maybe. Things like, and that's huge. But that was the first encounter with the Wolf Man. And then that really just got the ball rolling, man, because then a couple years later, me and Jake are hiking at my grandparents' farm down by, it's in Bellsville, right by Moundsville and Barnesville and Wheeling, West Virginia, which is a
Okay.
plethora of giant bone discoveries and tons of newspaper articles about it and wild man encounters. But we would hike before we go hunting, and we were with my dog Seiko, a black lab, and then two blue heelers, Shep and Joey. And we just got back hiking, and we're hiking up like the final hill. And my grandpa built a tree fort for us, and then my uncles would use it as a hunting stand, a tree stand.
Mm.
Laying there, just hanging out, just on the bank. And the dogs start freaking out, just walking around, pacing, looking around. And then this bear cat, feral, weird creature, black creature, as big as my dog, as big as Black Lab, jumps down, is like hissing, and we just,
Oh man.
and the dogs are surrounding it, biting, because the blue heelers are cow dogs, so they go straight to the ankle. And
Mm-hmm.
what I always thought was like it was a bear or like a panther. But now that the dog man encounters are exploding, and I see all these
Yeah.
different forms of them. There's these black dogs like in Resident Evil that their jaws come out like this, you know, and then
yeah, don't.
men that turn into werewolves on full moon. You know, there's so many
Yep.
different things. I really don't know what it was, but it was a juvenile if it was a werewolf or a cryptid, but it was crazy. And then the dogs ended up scurrying back, but they were really thrown off for the rest of the night. And that story is just so crazy because every time I go to my grandparents' farm, I think about it every time I go past that tree stand. And recently, when my cousin Eddie was down here, I've been telling him about my Bigfoot stories and everything. I told him that story. He told me one morning that he was being tracked. He heard 2 steps, just everyone, and he
Really
played it off in his head. And my grandpa is a really hard veteran military guy, you know,
okay.
like to budge, you know, and I've been
Yep.
trying to get so many answers from him because he had pictures of scat. We would always see tree bends and everything. And I just
wow.
know if he had any cows get killed or anything, because I need to know. That's my family's property, and this is super passionate about. And it's like it's right there, you know.
Right.
And but yeah, that was another crazy one. And then a couple of wild ones I had back home as well. One time I was I was gonna hang out with this girl, and my mom was home, so I couldn't have her pull into the driveway. So I had her pull like through my backyard, through like 3 backyards down the street.
Oh no.
And it neighbors like a huge woods. So have her go out there, and she's gonna sleep over and stay in the basement, and it's all like Mission Impossible Tom Cruise.
Yeah, right. Like your mom has no idea, right? Yeah.
Right. And
yeah.
I'm creeping through the backyard, and I'm like texting her, and she wasn't answering. So I'm waiting outside where she was gonna park. And she would not answer. And I'm have my guard down, and then I hear something like charging from the woods, and
Whoa.
I turn and run, and I'm angling at my door, like at my back door. I know where my house is, and I still have like 2 yards to get through. And I'm running. I go around my neighbor's pool, and they had a garden that I didn't know about, and they had those metal stakes that they wrap vines around. I run full speed into the stake, and it goes right in my lip and like cuts my face. I have broken my collarbone a handful of times, like separated my shoulder, but just like hairline fractures. I hit so hard it broke my collarbone, and I was in weeks after this, and I had this bloody scab on my face that I was so self-conscious of, and I hit the post, and I roll to the ground, and I just keep barreling forward. And then a couple minutes later, she pulls in, she's there, and I'm so pissed off because I'm bleeding, and she wants to sleep over still, and I was not having it. I've never seen her again, never saw her again. And
really? Oh no.
So pissed at her, and it's just like she's lucky she didn't get attacked right there, you know.
Oh, what a crazy story though. My goodness.
That one was crazy because it left a mark. And then of course all my friends and my mom and my dad are like, "Oh, you're just drunk running around." I'm like, "No, something was chasing me, you know." And it it might have been, I don't know, a jackrabbit, big, I don't know, but it was something that jumped to me. And I was not having it. And then another one that happened in my backyard. Me and my friend Jake, we were really big on psychedelics, and a couple years ago, before I moved, during the blood moon eclipses, we would take a lot of Lucy and then go. We watch like Enter the Void and 2001: Space Odyssey, all the rites of passage movies that really take you to next levels. They're like made for that, you know, and they really play with your mind. You know, going into the woods is one thing, but going around the world 10 times while sitting on your couch is another.
Right, sure.
But we're laying in the grass, looking at the sky, pretty much come alive, and the blood moon eclipse is right above us, and we're laying there, and my cats are out there, and it's in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. and we hear this like scurrying and rumbling over there on the other side of my shed, the Piff Palace, and we're just laying in the grass. And there's a big patch of woods that lead to it and a bunch of fruit trees. But we, again, totally had our guard down. We're tripping, you know, and we're looking at the sky.
Right.
Yeah. And we hear something over there. So we just think it's the cats. And we're like peeking over there, you know, sit up. And then we see that the cats are right next to us and they're looking over there. So we know something's there. So we get up and stick and we can barely see. We're like laughing, like we're like sword fighters, like a lightsaber.
Yep.
Over, and we just get hit with this like force or whatever, like a barrier that told us back up, get back. And we just
really
and internally surrendered, like totally gave up, laid back down, and the feeling went away. And we really don't know what it was. Never got a visual, never got any presence, was so strong. And some people would be like, oh, you were just tripping. But this was real. We were tripping, and that's what made us feel it way more. That might have saved our life. And I don't know if it was a paranormal thing or an actual creature. And there's a writer that grew up right around the street, right down the street, across the street that my mom used to babysit. And he's written about paranormal stuff. And he told me about this witch's stone that is in the woods back there behind his house. So
really,
heck knows, man. There's cults that right by one of the trailer parks by my old house that used to sacrifice chickens, they'd say. So if people things, who knows what kind of energy it's stirring up, what kind of portals, what kind of doors it's opening. We could be messing with some really dark things. And but my most recent Bigfoot encounter was a mixture. I call it the Ocheesee Pond Wild Man, but it's not even an Ocheesee Pond. It's just in the area, and it's also by a two-egg stump jumper. So it's just a mixture of that. It's the Florida skunk ape, and it's at the Bellamy Bridge. And Bellamy Bridge is like the most haunted bridge in the South, most haunted in Florida. There's a couple documentaries on Amazon Prime about it.
Okay.
And after the storm, they made another documentary called Spirits in the Storm, I'm pretty sure, about the storm stirring up paranormal activity. And there was Bigfoot sightings and UFO encounters and home ghost invasions after the storm. Numbers exploded. It's crazy. They made a movie about it. And and now that I don't get to do my backyard fun with Jake, we go hiking, you know, on full moons, Friday the 13th, Halloween.
Okay.
October 1st, the full moon, we went to Bellamy Bridge and we had a little encounter with either a gator or a coyote that jumped into the water right in front of us. Very first time, well, I've had multiple encounters at Bellamy Bridge. The very first time was when I got dehydrated there right after the storm. First time I ever went out there, and we got twisted and turned. Phone ended up dying. Flashlight ended up dying.
Oh no, dude!
Military veterans, and I'm the one leading the way with my foggy glasses. Just I had enough, man. And it was either we're spending the night out here and dealing with the ghost of Elizabeth Bellamy and the skunk ape and rattlesnakes, or and we were just quiet for a little bit, heard where the road was, and went. And now that I look back at all these missing 401 situations, we just dodged a bullet in that.
Yep.
The best one was I think it was a Friday the 13th, but it was some kind of crazy eclipse night, and we went out there, and I had my GoPro camera, and I actually got a loud hoot. And I got the video of it. I'm going to put it on my Instagram soon. I'm thinking to pair that with my book, you know, so it's
that's a smart idea.
Grand release, you know.
Yep.
But that night we heard a loud hoot, and I got it on my GoPro, and I got a nice little clip of it. And some people swear it's an owl, but I've been out there with owls, and there's about 200 hoots through the night. This was one that shook our chest, that stopped conversation. That was it, you know. That about 45 minutes later, like 45 feet away, not that far, like 25, 40 feet away, we hear this tree crash down, be cracked in half, slammed down.
Oh man.
And my goosebumps just ran up my arm. And Ronnie was strapped with the gun, and I had a knife, so I was dead meat. I was done, man. And outmatched. And I go out there. I'm not trying to hurt these creatures. I don't even care to see them. I just want to share the same ground as them, and we can talk and mesh on multiple levels. You know, it's it goes so much deeper than the eyes. And this is my cat Kodak, and I have 2 black cats and Kodak and Cuddy, and
Nice.
2 more cats. Well, I had 2 cats at my mom's house. She lives right down the street, about half a mile away. But my 2 cats from Ohio, Simba and Baby, they lived in Ohio. They lived in Indiana while I was on the road. And then first few years they lived here at my mom's house. And then April this year came around, and my mom found Baby in her backyard, tore apart, ripped apart. Her head
Oh boy. Oh
ripped
no.
out, and her insides came out.
Oh.
It really made
Sorry
me
to hear that.
question everything. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Oh.
She's in a better place. Heaven is real.
Yeah.
She'll be waiting for me at the kingdom gates, you know, but she did not deserve that, man. She was so sweet, and she loved fishing and venturing and gardening with my mom. She was there for me in my hardest times when I had nobody. And it's just sad. I wish I was there for her, you know. And
right.
he woke my mom up in the middle of the night barking at 3 a.m., roaring, you know. And it's just like, he must have witnessed it. And we what it was it an eagle? Was it an owl? Was it a jaguar, a bobcat? I don't think it was a dog or a coyote, because parts would have been everywhere. This was a precise kill. This looked like a cat killing a rabbit, you know how it would look. And it's like, was it the neighbors because they're crazy, or was it Bigfoot? Was it Dogman? Was it paranormal? Is it something attacking me because I'm investigating too far? It's like, it threw me through a whirlwind of feeling. And it was just a really tough time. And luckily, time helps, but she got her head ripped off in my mom's backyard. Like, there's not 20 sucks, you know, and people have lost their family, and people have lost their life and their job and everything. Like, 2020 is a rough year. We need to
rough, for real.
Forward and stay positive. And it's tough. It's tough when it hits home, because I thought about deleting everything. I'm like, this is not worth it, man. I would give everything back for my cat, man, you know. And one more moment with my best friend, and now every time I go and take care of my mom's animals that morning, it's in my head, you know. It might be that time, you know, but it's terrifying. But we set up trails around the perimeter and haven't had any problems since. Well, after my dog had a huge wound on his hand as well, and then the other cat went missing for 72 hours, and we found her by the cemetery. So we think the neighbors stole her on that one, because I went over and I was like, stole our cat. We need it back. And I think that making that contact hopefully got in their head, but it's just crazy. That's crazy. Such a dark place, and everything is so twisted and turned that no one knows who they are. And, you know, that person thinks they're adopting a feral cat, but they're stealing my cat, you know, into a 3-day, you know, worry spree. It's like, it's so sad. It's this world needs a revolution, and it starts with ourselves, but it also the truth and the sky and the creator and everything. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'll finish it with one more encounter.
All right.
It's an embarrassing one, but I've spoken out loud already, so nothing stops me. But we went to the Pascagoula, Mississippi recently, and Lost Point Gator Ranch, and rode an airboat for a while, and saw a bunch of gators and heard about the Rougarou and stuff.
Nice.
And we heard about the Pascagoula River aliens, you know, and it's a fascinating story how the 2 men were abducted, you know, but they never really say that like hundreds of other people in that area witnessed the craft. So it's all something happened that time. And so we're on the Pascagoula River over at Shepherd State Park, and with my buddy Adam, after we just went to the Gator Ranch, and we're walking. I have a video walking above the swamp, and we're on this like fancy walkway that's like 12 feet above the swamp, but it was on. So we're having to leap from post to post on some points, but I'm just trying not to, because there is no way up, and there's alligators and boar and giant snake.
Oh man.
You know, and lizards. And so I'm just trying to be safe, you know, and I'm jumping from post to post, and I think we were in New Orleans the day before, and we were drinking and had no sleep or anything. So of course my
Yep.
stomach was all over the place anyway. But I definitely felt something take over me that I was just like nauseous. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm like, all right, just gotta make it back to the car. And I'm jumping over these posts, and I land one hard time here, and I have an accident, in my pants. And
Oh
yeah,
no.
I gotta play it smooth. So I keep walking, and I literally honestly think the video that I took on my Instagram page, I already had the wet pants at that point. It's like after the accident. But so we finally get off this walkway and we get into the woods, and I tell Adam, I'm like, hey man, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I'm already thinking missing 411 in my head. I'm like, oh, don't get separated,
Yep.
but
Yep.
because I gotta check myself out. I gotta see what happened. So I go around the corner, and he's like still in eye distance because he probably just thinks I'm going pee real quick. And I keep going around the corner, and then once I'm out of distance, I drop my pants, and I see that it was a mess. So I ditched the underwear. So I'm like in a vulnerable spot, and again I hear some rumbling, not approaching me, but just some rumbling. And it's loud, it's heavy, like literally really close, like 15 yards away,
Oh no.
through the thick, and I'm just trying to get. I have a bare butt right now, and my pants are halfway down. So I take my shoes off, and I'm still like keeping my eyes on this. I'm like looking up the whole time, looking, like taking my socks and my shoes off, and I put my shoes on the ground, and I stand on my shoes, and I'm taking my socks off. I wipe myself with my socks. I throw my my underwear on the ground, and I throw the socks on the ground too, and I bury them, and I pull my pants up, and I like run back to Adam, and I'm like, oh my god, what was watching me? What was stalking me? It was loud and heavy, like it
Oh man, that's scary.
pretty
Yeah.
sure it meandered off, like, because I did not feel it any point after that. And then I walk with Adam, and one day he's gonna listen to this and get the answers, and then we get back to the car, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom. And Adam's like, didn't you just go? And he just put it together, like kind of put some of it together, like, yeah, I gotta go number two, man. Like, but it was,
That's awesome.
I had a rash, and like it was
Oh
really
no.
chafed and stuff, and I felt it for a while. So I've got marks left, from these creatures.
That's right. Yeah.
They indirectly hit me with some energy, and then I
That's true.
freak out, But
Oh
as
man.
long as they're not ripping my head off or taking me into some dark portal, then I think I'm fine. But
Yeah, for real.
I wanna
Dude,
I wanna
that's a
cross the
first.
bridge, but in the right way,
Yeah, I got you. Man, thanks for hanging out tonight. This has been fun, Connor.
It's been a
I'm gonna
blast, man.
I'm gonna
It's
be
been a
keeping an
bucket
eye
list.
on you. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you're doing some cool
Thanks,
stuff.
man. And if you
Yeah.
guys ever do any like round tables, I saw you were on the Bluff Creek round table as well.
Yeah, that one gets pretty interesting. Have fun listening to that when it gets out.
Oh,
It
for
was fun
sure.
though. It was
I'm
fun.
excited to hear mine
Yeah.
too. We were with a guy named Carl Crew, who is in a movie called Blood Diner, and his great uncle, Mr. Crew, was the one that discovered the footprints for
Oh,
Patterson.
Jerry Crew?
Yeah, Jerry Crew.
Wow, really?
It's his nephew. So we were chopping it up,
Oh,
and
no way.
about the pineal gland and third eye, and he's like,
Really? What's
new
that
wave
on?
of you. That was on the Bluff Creek Roundtable, but it's like the next one. It's gonna be the episode after yours.
Oh, no way. You're on one of
Yes.
them too? Dude, that's
Yeah.
gonna be legit.
So I hope we're on the third one together. We'll have to both talk to Tate, and I'll be like, yo, I want to be.
Oh, that'll be wild. All right. I'm excited. Yeah. All right, dude. Well, thanks for chatting. I'm excited to hear your roundtable, man. But
Thank you, man. Yeah, I sadly I definitely I had a great time on the round table, but I definitely didn't get to like explode and unfold like I do.
right.
Like it was
No, I
five of
gotcha.
us, and I was being I was all ears. I was fascinated by all these guys' stories. I'm like, dude, these guys been to Bluff Creek. This is
Yeah,
Jerry.
exactly.
And then I watched Blood Diner the night before, so I knew the movie that he was in.
Awesome.
It was real cool. He owns a strange museum out in California, and they have dead bodies that are kept, preserved, and a giant's head and bunch of crazy stuff, man. Just like the museum in Marie Laveau's museum in Louisiana, there was a lot of.
Mm,
They had a giant's head. It's Goliath's head.
wow.
I truly believe it's of course, like a replica.
Right, right.
I was really
That's
hoping
crazy.
Post Surface was going to be on it today, man. I ordered a big Patterson Giblin cast replica of the original, so it has like dirt
Okay.
S in it too.
Yeah, yeah,
I wanted to have it today. I'm sure it's going to come tomorrow morning, and I'm your big. But
yeah.
this time,
Ah,
no,
there you go.
no worries at all.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. It was nice meeting
That
you.
thanks, man. I had an incredible time. Time flew. Time flies when you're having fun.
For
And
real, for real.
I had a great night, bro. A
All
legendary
right.
night that lives forever. We created our energy together, created this, and I hope people
I love it.
absorb it and enjoy it.
All right. Have a good one, Connor.
You too, Jeremiah. Peace out, brother.
Peace.